Hey guys, it's Joanna, Naturally Motivated Lady. You may have clicked on this video because you're interested in starting Braidlocs or Interlocks and would like to see some pros and cons of both. Or you may already be on your lock journey and just enjoy seeing the different types of locks. But either way, stick around to see some up-close pictures and video of the difference between my Braidlocs and Interlocks. So first things first, I started my hair with Braidlocs about 22 months ago. Then about 2 months ago, I realized that my braid pattern was not disappearing nearly as quickly as other people's do. The two different textures of my locks was kind of annoying me. So I spontaneously decided to comb out the braids from the ends. And I redid the ends using the interlocking method. And you can check out my previous video to see all the details on that and to see how much time it took me, because it did take a while. So let's start with some of the pros of Braidlocs. The first thing is that braids are easier to install than interlocks. Almost anyone can plait or braid. So for someone like me who wanted locks but who had zero experience with interlocking, braiding was definitely the way to go. It was fairly easy and it looked really nice and neat after I finished braiding my hair. The second positive is that I can braid much faster than I can interlock. My self-installation took a lot less time, and the only negative or con that I can think of with the Braidlocs is that for my hair, probably due to the length of my hair, the braid pattern remained very visible. And the braided part didn't really plump up like I wanted it to. And some people's braids only take a few months before they're looking like locks, especially if they start off with shorter hair. But that just wasn't the case with my locks. In fact, let me show you a couple pictures of how much the braid pattern was still showing. And don't get me wrong, I love my locks when they were braids, but I love them even more as interlocks. And let me tell you why. One of the biggest reasons is that with interlocks, my locks now look uniform. They look the same from the root to tip. And another pro is that my locks as interlocks, they feel softer and they look fuller. And now some might view this as a con, but in my personal experience, there is more shrinkage with interlocks than with Braidlocs. The Braidlocs have some shrinkage, but not as much as the interlocks. And in the comments, let me know if you had a lot of shrinkage with your locks when you started. So if you're trying to maintain length, then you may prefer to start your locks with braids. And here's a couple of close-up pictures of my current interlocks. And guys, I still have a few Braidlocs around the perimeter of my head that I didn't comb out, because on those shorter areas of my hair, the braids started to blend with the interlocks. But I also found 4 Braidlocs that were really long on my head that had not been converted from Braidlocs to interlocks. What I didn't like about those longer Braidlocs is that they hang lower. So you see how the Braidlocs hang lower? So I decided to comb out the braided portion of the 2 longest braids and then change them to interlocks as well. So now, even though my hair appears to be an inch or so shorter, I am much, much, much happier with it now because it looks more even and fuller, and I just like the overall look better. And it looks more like locks. But one not so great thing about starting with interlocks throughout the full length of your hair is that it does take some practice to get the rhythm down and to get faster at putting the interlocks in. And I also wanted to mention that I only braided and banded my hair for the first few weeks that I washed it, and then I just went back to my regular wash routine. There were no signs of bunching or unraveling, so I really didn't feel the need to continue braiding and banding. So, should you start your hair with braidlocks or interlocks? Ultimately, that decision is yours. There are pros and cons to both methods. And I hope that my personal experience that I share today can help you in making a decision that's best for you. In my personal journey, I started with braidlocks and switched to interlocks. And truly, in my opinion, I don't believe that that switch would be necessary for most people. If you start with braidlocks, you can probably just leave them as braidlocks. But either way, I love both braidlocks and interlocks. And you can find people here on YouTube with beautiful heads of locks who started with braids and some with interlocks. I only spoke about braidlocks and interlocks today because that's what I have experience with. But if you already have locks, go ahead and share with us how you started yours. Did you start with sister locks, braidlocks, interlocks, comb coils? And what did you like about the method that you started your locks with? And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe, or even let me know what questions you might have, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.